So our backyard's about to get a major upgrade. What's now just an open space will soon become a couple pickleball courts, transforming this area behind me into the ultimate spot for fun, lessons, and PaddleBoss video creation. So we're really excited to get started. Here's a look into the process of constructing a couple backyard pickleball courts. A few years ago, if you told me that someday I'd have 2 pickleball courts in my backyard, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But in a lot of ways, the story actually started almost 40 years ago. I started playing pickleball back in 1988, and some of my favorite memories growing up happened on a homemade court that we put together in our driveway. My friends and I would spend hours out there playing games, competing, laughing, and creating memories that I still think about today. Fast forward a few decades, and my son Xavier and I started playing again when he was about 12 years old. What started as something fun to do together quickly turned into a passion. We became students of the game, we traveled to tournaments, we spent countless hours practicing and playing. Eventually we started PaddleBoss, where we help 3.0 and 3.5 players learn advanced pickleball through our online coaching programs, our book, The Doubles Playbook, and even our own paddle, the Spin Boss Pro. As PaddleBoss continued to grow, we found ourselves constantly filming training videos, hosting clinics, and working with players. And there was one thing that we talk about all the time. Wouldn't it be amazing if we had our own courts? Not just somewhere to play, but a place to teach, a place to create, and a place where memories can be made. So we decided to take the leap and bought a house with a large enough space to put a couple courts. Yeah, I know, 2 courts might seem like overkill, but it'll be great for hosting clinics. If you've ever built anything substantial, you know that these projects never move as quickly as you hope. I knew the process would likely take a few months, so I got the ball rolling as soon as we closed on the house. My goal was to have everything finished before the brutal Phoenix summer arrived. Unfortunately, Mother Nature had other plans. We had a major rainstorm and the ground became so saturated that construction equipment couldn't safely get into the backyard without risking getting stuck. What I thought would be a short delay turned into a couple extra months of waiting. Finally, right before Christmas of 2025, excavation began. And for the first time, the stream started to feel real. Now, since we started this project, I've gotten the same 3 questions over and over. What was the process? What materials did you use? And what did it cost? So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through everything that we learned while building these courts. Let's start with the design. We chose to build a slab measuring 64 feet by 65 feet. Since pickleball court itself is only 20 by 44 feet, this gave us plenty of room around the courts. 10 feet behind each baseline, more than 6 feet on the outside edges, and 13 feet between the 2 courts. That extra space matters more than most people realize. It gives you room for deep serves, ATPs, and all those crazy scramble points that make pickleball so much fun. The first step was clearing the area. We removed the grass, trees, and began the excavation process. Even though we weren't ready to install the lights yet, we knew eventually we wanted them, so we went ahead and ran all the underground conduit while everything was open. Once the site was graded and leveled, it was time to prepare for concrete. Because this would be one large slab, cracking was one of my biggest concerns. We decided to spare no expense and go with the post-tension concrete. It's definitely more expensive than a traditional slab, but we decided if we want the courts to last, this was a necessary expense. The post-tension cables are laid out throughout the slab before the concrete's poured. About a week after the pour, those cables are tensioned from both directions, putting the entire slab under compression. The result is a stronger slab that's much more resistant to cracking over time. You may also notice something's missing. A lot of court builds include a moisture barrier underneath the concrete. Our contractor actually recommended against it for our specific soil conditions here in Phoenix. He told us they've seen better long-term results locally without one, so we trusted his experience. Depending on where you live, a moisture barrier is likely a necessary step. After months of delays, concrete day was incredibly exciting. For the first time, I could actually visualize what these courts would become. The courts sit roughly 200 feet from the street, so every yard of concrete had to be pumped all the way from the curb into the backyard. Several trucks showed up throughout the day, pumping a total of 80 yards of concrete. The slab is between 7 and 8 inches thick, and it took an entire 10-hour day to pour, level, and finish. When the crew finally packed up, we had what looked like 2 pickleball courts. Kind of. At that point, it was really just a giant gray slab. Then came more waiting. The concrete needed 30 days to cure. In reality, ours sat for closer to 2 months, but it was finally time for the surfacing process to begin. All right, the concrete's been curing for about 6 or 7 weeks. They put a layer of slurry on yesterday. Tomorrow, the primer goes on, and then we're putting colors and lines down after that. So we're really excited to be approaching the finish line on this. It's gonna be really great to go in the backyard and film our YouTube content and be able to do lessons out here and play with our friends. The first step was applying a slurry coat. This helps create a texture and helps the paint stick to the concrete. After that came a black primer coat. Then came one of the hardest decisions in the entire project, the colors. I probably spent way too much time contemplating color combinations. Most courts use some variation of green, but we already knew that we were gonna have green grass surrounding the courts, and we wanted something different. Something unique without being overly flashy. One thing that was really important to me was creating contrast so the playing area of the court would stand out from the out of bounds. So we chose Acrotex Competition Blue for the out of bounds areas, gray for the kitchen, and sea green for the main court, which looks like light blue on camera, but in person it's more of a teal color. Once the color started going down, everything changed. For the first time, it actually looked like pickleball courts. Then came my favorite part, the white lines. It's funny because they're one of the quickest parts of the entire process, but the moment those lines are painted, the court suddenly comes alive. Everything pops. To improve playability, silica sand was mixed into every paint coating, including the line paint. This helps maintain consistent traction and prevents the ball from skipping on the lines. After a few more days of work, the surface was complete, along with our PaddleBoss logo, and honestly, we couldn't have been happier. The courts looked even better than we had imagined. So what did all this cost? In total, we have about $67,000 invested in the project. Roughly $50,000 of that was post-tension concrete, and about $14,000 was surfacing, and the rest went towards excavation, materials, plumbing for future lights, and other miscellaneous expenses. We've also saved a significant amount of money by installing the fencing and artificial turf ourselves. If we'd hired that work out, the total would have been considerably higher. The nets were up, and after another week of curing, the paddles came out. And we finally got to play on the courts that we've been dreaming about for so long. What's cool is that these courts will help us build better videos, host clinics, and work with more players. But for me, they also bring things full circle. Some of my best memories growing up happened on a pickleball court, and now I get to look forward to years of future memories with our family, friends, and hopefully new friends from around the country. And speaking of new pickleball friends, I've got something just for you. If you're a beginner or intermediate player and you'd like to improve your situational strategy on the court, you should click the link down in the description and download our mini playbook. Inside, you'll learn 5 of the most common situations players face during a game and exactly what to do to gain an advantage in each point. Each play includes a diagram, a written explanation, and a video breakdown showing how it works in real matches. And if you'd like to see more videos filmed right here on these courts, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because we post new training videos for 3.0 and 3.5 players every week. Thanks for following along on this journey, and don't forget to download the mini playbook down in the description.